What's going on, folks? Jason Damico here on the Jason Damico Show, and coming in virtually because of COVID-19 situation. And we have a very special guest, as always, on the show. We go way back, and we haven't talked in years, so I'm really excited about having her on. And born in Florida, she grew up in North Carolina, currently a New Yorker, and she's been pursuing her musical theater career with goals to make it on Broadway. She's also a model and published writer in Archive magazine. So for those of you who are into poetry, check her out there. And please welcome to the show my good friend, Miss Josy Soriano. Good to have you.
Hello. How are you, honey?
Good. So for those of you who don't know, Josy and I went to high school together.
Way back when.
In, what was that? 08 to
2012.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Ooh, that makes me feel old.
Yeah. Like a decade and then some.
Yeah, Northwood High School, baby.
Now, tell me if you feel the same way. Like, does it feel like you were just there, as far as you still feel like you're 16 kind of in this day and age? Sometimes? Okay.
Definitely. I feel like college definitely resonates with me. Like, I feel like I was in college maybe like last year.
Where did you go to school?
I went to East Carolina University.
Okay.
Yeah. So ECU, Pirate Nation.
Right. I was just there back in February, believe it or not.
At ECU?
Yeah. I was running sound for a concert. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was one of those like just crazy frat parties. My good friends, Kentucky Ruckus were the band, and it was nuts. It was like 600 people. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was like number one party school in the nation for years. So,
but they were really cool people. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just the house. Maybe it was just that crowd. But they were great. It didn't. Of course, they were like partying, but they were really nice people.
That's good. Yeah, it wasn't like sloshy, like, bro, get out of here, like that kind of thing.
So you were there the entire time then?
Yeah, I was there for all 4 years, and I pursued musical theater along with like a 2-year professional acting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we'll back up a little bit and get into your beginning stages. I know a lot about you because we obviously were in school together, but for those of us that aren't watching, talk about a little bit your musical background, theater, performance, the whole shebang.
Sure. So, I grew up like initially with piano. Like, my mom enrolled me in a bunch of different things when I was growing up. Like, I remember I tried to play flute, violin, cornet, and what really, really stuck with me, aside from like a little bit of piano, was voice. Mm-hmm. So my first like real show that I was ever in was in middle school, actually, at Salem Middle School in North Carolina, and that was Seussical, the musical. And I was in the chorus, like I was in the ensemble, and I just loved it. Like, I knew from like the first time that I really started singing, I was like, I need to be somehow doing this all the time, every day. This is what my purpose is, So then when high school kind of made that like real to me, and they were like, you can do this like as a career, I was like, this is amazing. What? So I think I was really lucky in knowing exactly what I wanted to do growing up, where I know like there are a lot of people that are like, I don't know what I want, and that's a really big jump, like jumping from high school to college, and you already have to know what you want to do,
Right.
So, yeah.
So started early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shout out to Marilyn Shugart.
Oh my gosh, Miss Sugar.
When was the last time you? I gotta have her on the show. When was the last time you talked to her or saw her? I'll send her the link when this is out.
I don't know. I don't think I even spoke to her really in that much. I just remember sometimes seeing her on Facebook. Um, but yeah, I remember that chorus class like it was yesterday.
Yeah, you gotta reach out to her and say, hey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we were in what was it, like vocal, like freshman vocal? When were we in the same class? Did you graduate in
I
2012?
think a couple of years we were. Yeah, we were definitely in the same high school class.
Okay.
And
I think we were in the same. No, go ahead.
I remember we did all county chorus.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, we did. Well, I remember there being like musical theater. I think we did Into the Woods together. And
yeah, you were the prince. Oh my
God. That's all coming back to you now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, that's insane.
Wild time.
Yeah. I was Little Red.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I haven't thought about that in a minute.
I'm like trying to think like the cast.
So
I remember Kobe was the prince.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We had, I think we had like at least 2, maybe 3 classes with Shugart together. Cause I know I was every semester I had a class with her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So,
mm-hmm.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to totally digress on that, but during that time frame, you were doing a lot of musical theater. These days from what I've seen on Instagram, you're kind of more into the modeling side of the business per se, but I don't know if that's accurate because Instagram is very photo generated. So, but I was just curious to see when that switch happened for you.
Sure. So actually, out of college, when I first moved to New York, I lost my voice. And wow. I lost half of my range for maybe 7 months. And I didn't know why. To an ENT, maybe like 2 or 3 times I got scoped and they're like, we don't see anything wrong. And so I remember thinking like, oh shit, like I literally went to school for this thing and now I literally can't pursue it. Like I can't sing.
Right.
So that was kind of when I started modeling. Mm-hmm. And I started just seeing people like one of my good friends, Christy Soder.
Christy.
Yeah, Christy. Yeah. So Christy was kind of a huge inspiration for me in terms of modeling. Because I was like, how else am I gonna like express my creativity and like just keep that creative flow going?
Right.
And so I just had a couple of people reach out to me that were starting up with like photography. And so I started collabing with them. This was all over Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then I went to a model meetup, and then that just kicked off everything in terms of connecting with new models and photographers. And I got more into that. But then slowly, I think my voice got more acquainted with the air in New York, and I started getting my voice back. So if I'm being honest with you, like I do love modeling, but it's not my passion. Like, I do love collabing and creating art, but like singing and performing is definitely like my fun.
Well, I'm sure that there's been tremendous overlap, out of that kind of entrepreneurial necessity that you pursued because of the vocal issues that you were dealing with, right? I mean, from a promotional standpoint, you've got a very tight Instagram, so I would. Well, it's true. It's so as far as like from a booking standpoint and for producers and directors that are looking for talent nowadays, I mean, I know like when we cast for music videos, that the social media presence always has a lot
Yeah.
to do with it. I mean, first of all, the talent has to be there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
beyond that, it's always a plus. Like if you have two people that are of equal caliber, but one has a better social media presence, you know,
yeah, they're
that's a
gonna attract a
plus.
bigger audience. Like,
Have you
oh,
noticed that in the last couple of years yourself?
definitely. I mean, not so much in terms of getting cast in live theater,
Right.
but getting cast in music videos and everything like that. Like, you know, where I just have to be like the pretty girl that some guy sings about or something like that. Like that definitely helped a lot.
The love interest.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
always the love interest or the one that broke the heart or whatever, you know, like, yeah, I feel like definitely in that aspect, that has helped me like exponentially. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into vocals, I actually remember there was this one time, and forgive me if this is, I think now you'll be okay to talk about it, but if you don't want to get into it, that's fine. And you probably have no idea what I'm going to bring up, but what you said,
I'm scared.
yeah, you're like, you're on bated breath.
I'm like,
there was this one time, I don't remember what it was for, but there was this one time you were auditioning for something, and it was during high school. And I remember you came in to Sugarart's class and you had like a bunch of note cards and you weren't talking for 24 hours straight. Do you remember this?
oh God, I think I do. I came in with like I think I went on vocal rest.
You
And
went
I
on
was
vocal
that
rest.
girl. Like,
You went on vocal rest. And I remember saying, because you were like, we were having a conversation. You just had like, yes, no,
like,
I don't know. Like you like literally, or you would literally write down a new Post-it note to say an answer. And you're doing this like throughout the whole day. And I was like, Josy, look, do you really think this is going to make a difference tomorrow at the audition? And you're like, yes. Like you're like, yeah. And then I don't know exactly what happened. I think I from what I remember, it didn't go as quite as planned for you. But I'm bringing it up because you said, like, you saying that your voice went out for 6 or 7 months. It was just.
I know. Oh, I didn't know anything back then. I barely knew anything back then. I feel like anything about like vocal health, a touch or two of like different things, but wow. Yeah.
What was the last time you thought about that?
I can't even
I
I'm
can't
not
remember.
even
Isn't it weird how those little things like stick with other people other than you? Like people will come up to me all the time, be like, "You remember like when you did this or when you did that?" It's like, I think so. You know?
Yeah. I remember this one time where I think like me and Kristen Hutchison, we were walking around the neighborhood and it was like Super Bowl and she was like, I think that's Jason's house. And I was like, let's say hi.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
And so we just like walked into your house, like you were like, hi. And I was like, hi. We just came to say hi.
That was back in your emo days. If you were you emo? Kind of. We got to get some pictures. We got to like go back into the, Facebook archive.
Don't. I was like this scene punk kid, and I loved My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Like, still love them. Shit. But definitely, yeah, that resonated in my style, 1,000%.
Good times. It's like a little high school reunion.
I know. Crazy.
In a way.
What the heck? I have not gotten that invite. We have gotten that?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know when they start doing them.
Isn't there like a 5-year?
Well, it'll probably be 2022 for us.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Would you?
Woof.
I'm like, would I go? I don't know. So many people we know have like families and kids now.
It's freaky, isn't it?
And I'm over here and I'm like, ooh.
It's really freaky. I mean, you take, and I'm not going to say any names, but you probably, know the same people that I know from our class. Yeah. Two plus kids, house, And
Yeah.
cool. I mean, look, it's working.
Good for you. Like,
You and I would
oh,
probably be like banging our heads against the wall in 2 weeks.
1,000%. I'd be like,
Yeah.
cool. Where's the babysitter?
So coming out of let's talk a little bit about ECU during your time there,
Oh,
and
okay.
maybe then migrating up to New York, and some of
Sure.
the some of the things that you've done, some of the projects that you've been a part of, also creative process. Not to throw all these questions at you, but just kind of those ideas. Anything of interest that you want to say off the bat?
Started college.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the head of our musical theater department, Michael Tahaney. I love him. He actually told me that he almost didn't take in for the program based on my audition video, which I did with Miss Shugart.
What?
And it was, yeah, it was wild. He was like, I mean, your belt was good, but like your soprano, woo. But he was, but your personality seemed really cute and funny, so we took you.
Wow.
Wow, that's nutty.
So many
So
skeletons coming out of the closet.
I know. So
All
yeah.
right, so you get there.
I get there and we start like vocally we start with legit singing, which like for those of you that don't know, it's kind of like you guys would like probably just opera, opera-ish. And so like head voice stuff I struggled with for a really, really long time. Like I was like my class moved on to belting and I stuck with the legit stuff until one day of a voice lesson I was like, I don't know what you expect me to do, Molly. Like this is so hard. I mean, like here's Sierra Boggess and she can sing like and she was like, that's it, just like mimic her. And I was like, oh cool. So now I thought that was just so funny because that I used to be so self-conscious of like voice and everything, and now I honestly feel like I get cast more as like
Right.
Maria in West Side Story and way
Mhm.
more like legit do bell. But yeah, college was a time like I remember I used to get really, really self-conscious about my acting as well. And I just thought that I'd be cheesy actor. Like I would wait for the other actor to like say their line in order for me to say mine. And so that's where I submitted for Meisner, and I did like the 2-year training of that, and that was a time in itself. And I mean, I'm so grateful for it. It honestly did help. So yeah, and then from there, I think I waited tables for like 2 before coming up to New York. And oh man, they did not prepare you for that. Like I think every college like leaves out the whole fact that you need to get side gigs, and all this
Yep.
kind of stuff to support yourself just so you can pay rent.
Yep.
Um and yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough, but like you really and I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot about myself when I first moved here in terms of you can't um, beat yourself up every time you go in and you don't get a call back or
Right.
whatever. You
Right.
celebrate the little victories in terms of like, yes, I got up at 4 a.m. to wait in line in front of Pearl Studios. Good for you. Do you know how many people have not done that? So I'd like
Pearl
guess
Studios is a behemoth.
oh, I know. It's like that and
It's
Ripley
like
Greer
it's like eight.
around 30.
What? It's like 8 floors
Pearl,
at least.
12.
Oh my god.
There's fourth. There's one on, I think, 12, if I'm not mistaken.
I've been to Pearl probably a year or two. Last time I was there, I was in one of the waiting lobbies for like 2 hours and just
Oh,
reading.
goodness.
Yeah, just reading. Like I was still in college at the time, so I was doing my
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
Where did you go to college, Jason?
Where or when?
Yeah. Where?
I went. Well, I did the online program with William Peace in Raleigh.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, where did everyone go? I have no idea.
Yeah, I took a gap year out of high school. I just played with the band for a whole year, and then
I remember playing so much. I was like, is he in school? How is he doing this?
oh, even when I was in high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I was playing all the time in high school as
Mm-hmm.
well. But it was, yeah, I mean, I took a year off. That was like from 2012 to 2013. I was playing probably 120, 150 shows. And then I started the online program, but it was slow. I did like
Mm.
three or six credits per semester. It was horrible. It was just like really, really slow. Um, and then by the time, yeah, it took me like 5 or 6 years to get my bachelor's because it was just I was working, I was building a business. It was tough, and I was in New York, whatever, doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but yeah, by the time like the last 18 months of school, I didn't take any breaks, and I did like 70 something credits. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was just like stupid.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because I was like screwing around. Like, I was still getting A's and B's and whatever, but it just was taking
Yeah.
forever. And I was like, you know what? That's it. Shut myself down. We're getting this done,
Yeah.
and we got it done. And now I don't even know. After this COVID situation, who knows? I may get a PhD or something. I'm kind of fed up with all this crap.
All these online, like, get free and
Why not?
graphic
I got
design.
my bachelor's online. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
What's another 3 years?
Might as well. I was thinking about doing like personal training. Getting that.
That doesn't take that long, right? 6 months maybe, if that.
Yeah, I think like 6. Yeah.
I think you'd be well in that
If
field.
that. Huh?
I think you do well in that field.
Thank you. I think I would too. I really want to, like, one of my passions or one of my goals is to like maybe teach group fitness one day. So,
You've got that right personality where you can bait everybody in and then keep them dying throughout the
yes.
exercise.
Yeah, I love keeping people dying. It's great.
Let's talk about the audition process real quick, because I know you as well as me have been on at this point in our careers hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of auditions.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what it's like, it goes without saying, like what experiences have you gathered? What are like the top three for the newbies out there? What would you say are the top three audition pieces of advice that you would give?
Oh God. Okay. Uh let's see. Number one, just like always come prepared. Like always. Like just bring the dance stuff, even though they say we're not doing a dance, like a dance call. Just bring it, because you really don't know if that's gonna happen. Or who knows, like you'll come across like a dance call down the hall and you're like, wait, I'd be perfect for this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. Uh Number two is watch your mouth, because you don't know who is sitting next to you. You don't know what like work that they're working on.
Yep.
So like, just be a nice person. Like, don't talk shit about people. That's just rude. And no one cares about how much of a bitch Susie Q was on like this cruise. Like, but who knows? That person might be best for the person literally getting ready right next to you.
Right. Right.
And so yeah, so just like, try to follow that like golden rule, or like, just don't talk shit about people. And then say, don't apologize in the audition room. I can't tell you how many times, and I've also been a reader on the other side of the table, and it baffles me how many times people come in and they apologize for not being like ready, for not being prepared. And it just makes you look unprofessional on every single
Right.
like you know what I mean? It looks
Right.
so bad. So don't ever say like, oh, sorry, I'm a little sick. Like, I don't care. No one cares. They just want to hear you do it. And if you're really that bad, maybe you shouldn't be coming and singing for us today. You know what I mean? So, and times like the people behind the table aren't dumb. If you're sick, chances are they can tell, and so if you can hit a certain note, they'll be able to tell, but you don't need to like make a speech out of it. So
If you're gonna do it, you have to be clever in the way that you do it. If you are gonna make an excuse, it better be funny, or it better be there better be some sort of like entertainment value behind it.
but yeah, like you better be charming.
Exactly. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like
I
light of
had
it.
so I you'll enjoy this story. Winter, New York City, 2000 whatever. This is probably 20, I don't know, 2016, 2017,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around there. And big audition for some sort of national commercial, whatever. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many you can't remember anymore. So
Yeah.
I go in, um, and it was like I think there was a blizzard going on, and I think I stayed at one of my mentors' places because I was upstate at the time. So I took the train down the day before. I stayed at his place. He wasn't there. I've got keys to his place when I need to come and
Mm-hmm.
go. And yeah, got a total nosebleed.
Oh
Though
no.
at his apartment in the shower, because during that time, I don't know what happened. Like in my early 20s, for some reason, maybe it was like the New York air because it was a little bit different than down south.
It's different.
I for like the first year or two, it really took me a while to get acclimated with. I had a lot of nasal soreness,
Mm-hmm.
so I would like play with my nose because it was just really irritated. And what I realized was doing that, it was really making it more irritated, and then start bleeding like a pig. So this ends up
Yeah.
happening in a shower. And so I'm like cleaning up the whole place. Nobody's there, but like I'm sitting there, and it's like 17 degrees out. It
Yeah.
takes he's up on the 8th floor at Central Park West. It takes like 10 minutes for warm water to get up there. Building's like
Yeah.
150 years old. So anyway, like I clean it up, sitting there, and I'm like, wow. So now I got to hoof it all the way to God knows where, and my heart rate's going to be going up, and it's bad enough it's an audition, but already it's like freezing out, going to be walking
I
around. So I'm
know.
literally, I kid you not, like if I had a decent smartphone at the time, I would have like taped this or whatever. Like if TikTok existed at the time, it would have went viral. I'm literally walking around, but I look normal because everybody's fucking crazy in New York anyway. And
Yeah.
I'm pinching my nose, walking down the street like this. Okay, because it
Yeah.
would literally start bleeding every minute if I wasn't doing that. On the subway like this, on in the elevator like this.
You were a crazy person.
I run into one of my friends at the audition, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Sure, yeah." I mean, just been bleeding profusely out of the nose for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
My brain's not.
I go into the audition like
Mm-hmm.
this. And they're like,
No, you did it.
"Oh, I so did." And they're like, "Are you okay?" And there's like, like blood stains on the thing. I was like, "Yeah, I've just had a nosebleed for the last 30 minutes, but glad to be here. And I'm gonna
I'm
take
glad to be here.
I'm gonna take this down now, and let's see." And there was like a female, I don't know if it was like a female love interest, or like there was a female that they were doing group auditions, and she was there, and she was like looking at me like I was from another place. It was great. Didn't get the part, but
But funny.
so that was an interesting, audition story.
Oh, there was like one little, I had one audition where um I had like for Hamilton and there were I think they were just doing like one of their auditions that they have
Hmm.
um every year. I was getting ready to go in and I pulled like a new audition song that I made a new cut for and everything. And I'm just like trying to be like, okay, like what are my lyrics again? Da, da, da. And I'm like, I'm about to go in. And this little old lady comes up to me and she just starts talking to me like, what are you auditioning for? And I'm like, like Hamilton, and she was just like, oh, that's so exciting. Oh, what part do you think you're gonna get? And I'm like,
Ah.
uh and she just keeps on asking me all these questions. And then there was this one that rounded the corner and she was like, it's Sam. She's probably trying to like to focus herself on the, and she was like, I'm so sorry. And it
Yeah.
just all that happened, she like door opened, they were like Josy Soriano, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I went to the pianist and I like told them, you know, my beat and like everything like that. And then I came back and they're like, so what are you gonna be singing for us today, Josy? And I was like, what am I singing?
Oh shit.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, and I was like, I'm it's cool. It's fine. And like I did it. It went well, but yeah, definitely not a callback.
Right, right. I mean,
So
talking about this stuff, it really only experience can teach you. It doesn't matter what school you went to,
mm-mm.
who your parents are. It really doesn't matter. It's just like that experience, that raw experience. The
Definitely.
things you have to do in this business. And I mean that phrase right there could lead down a lot of rabbit holes, but
Yeah.
in general, just from the audition I mean, the things that you have to do, a lot of people just don't get it, especially starting
Well,
out.
yeah. Well, auditioning is just yeah, auditioning is just a separate animal. You know what I mean?
It's an art form in itself.
Yeah, like I kind of wish that I had some sort of class that was like, you know, audition like that we did every week. You know, I remember
Yeah.
we had one little portion where it was like, this is how you a room, let's practice, you know. But it was only like maybe 2 days. And I feel like we should have just been like doing that every week because
Right.
that's what majority of your career is, I feel like, you know. So
It's yeah, and we've talked about this on other episodes before.
mm-hmm.
The concept of staying present. And it's funny
Yeah.
because a lot of the exercises that, and you probably did them as well. I know Shugart was nuts about this stuff. Like, like we were laying on the floor and just
Oh yeah.
doing like meditation as high schoolers. And it was like,
Uh-huh.
it was like so woo woo back then. But now when I look at it, it's like, man, she's actually kind of brilliant, like instilling, at least in my opinion. I thought it was, looking back on it
Yeah.
now, that was really brilliant that she was injecting that into just the basic
Yeah.
public school program, because a lot of those techniques you really don't get unless you're in a private teaching environment, or college level you know
I
drama
totally agree.
and vocal courses.
Mm-hmm.
What do you what's what's your regimen as far as just staying present, staying in the moment as a creative, maybe your process, like what are your thoughts on that?
Sure. Um, I well, I know a lot of people. I feel like they do a lot of like breathing or like meditation. You know, like I'll see a couple of people in the room with like headphones and they, you know, they have their eyes closed. They're just like trying to find that place. Me, on the other hand, because I feel like I've had to train my brain to be like, um, this is your job, like this audition, just like getting seen is like a feat in its own. So I don't amp myself up in terms of like, this is it, you're gonna get it. No, like, so I feel like I come in pretty yeah, like I come in pretty calm and I go
Right.
over my song maybe like 3 times, like, and I sing through it. I warm up in the shower, like
Yep.
before I get to Pearl,
Yep.
just the steam and everything like that. And then, yeah, I just kind of like keep to myself. I do my makeup in the room, it gets me my place. And then once all of that is all done and I've changed into my clothes, I feel like I'm this new person now, you know? Yeah, and I guess, like, I just shake it out before I go in the room, and that's about it. I don't
That's
really,
it.
like, have, like, a thing that I do, but I guess, like, I always have coffee. I have to have coffee. If I don't have coffee, I'm like, I feel like I'll do worse. It's like one of those things that's
It's
become
a
a ritual.
superstition.
Yeah, it is. I feel like if I don't have coffee, I'm gonna blow it. I really do.
I mean, you know what that means, right? You have to start doing auditions without it. You've developed a
No!
you've developed a crutch.
I have. It's bad.
You're an addict.
You know what? I could be addicted to other things. So I'll take coffee as my thing.
Yeah. The
So,
it's
yeah.
funny. Like coffee always was like I'd get the heart palpitations earlier on, but
Mhm.
now it's not a big deal. Like the caffeine.
Now it's like water. I
Yeah.
feel like I had to move up to espresso to get some sort of like
See, I
kick in
told
my day.
you. I told
I
you.
know. Ah! I can't do energy drinks. That's one thing that I
Yeah,
will.
those are nuts. Those are
There's
wild.
so much sugar.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I think I actually I think that coffee boosts the immune system.
hmm
I can't prove it.
How
I
so?
read I've seen it from personal experience.
Like it makes you poop.
Yes, Josie, it does that.
It's good like that. You know what I mean?
But
Like
yeah, but
let's
I mean,
talk
from an
about
immune,
it.
no, I think you get sick less often. I think you have a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I mean by boosting your immune system. That's that's what I've
Oh, I thought.
seen. What did
Sorry,
you
I
think I
thought that you
said?
meant like your system.
Did
I
I
don't know if
break?
it
Did I?
cut out for a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say I must have broke up over there or something.
I was like, oh yeah. So I had no idea that it would like help your immune system though. Like if you drink it black, or it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, just there's something about it that
Okay.
that's just from what I've experienced. I can't prove it.
Oh, okay. But you're somehow getting better in your immune system by drinking.
I know. I just noticed. I had a little bit more of a defense when I was drinking coffee regularly. I had a little bit more of an initial defense. Like if I felt like I was coming down with something, if I just got enough sleep, and I just had like coffee. I don't know, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I don't really do it every day, but
Uh-huh.
I noticed that my body just had a little bit more of a boost.
Oh, well that's good. Well, I'm wondering if that's probably just because, like, you know, your body is not getting used to it because you're giving it those breaks. And so it's
It's
like, oh,
possible.
caffeine boost, you know. But
I'm not I don't do habits like I can't that's why I was giving you shit earlier is like I just can't I don't know what it is like I can't be that person like I have to have I'm like I I don't know what it is I just
mhm,
and maybe that's like the addiction itself like not being addicted to anything like that's the addiction I don't know
maybe.
maybe
I don't know. I think that's the one thing that'll like settle my mind
right.
before going into an audition. I'm like, well, here we go. Good morning. You know, that's how I feel like almost every audition. I'm like, ah, we're good. Instead of like the people who are stressed around me. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I think the antidote to that is already and people it takes a while to really figure this out. It's like you have to have a life
mhm.
beyond that because if you
Yeah,
don't, I mean, it's gonna eat you alive.
it really I know. You can't
And
just
I think everybody's been there. Like I've been there personally, and yeah, I would
Mhm.
rather be a little bit more stressed out in the real world of being diversified, having multiple fingers and hands and multiple tentacles in multiple areas, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like that to me is it's going to make the audition process better because you're going in there from a place of like non-neediness. I mean, of course you want the gig or of course you want the
Yeah.
show, but it's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, you know, there's 100 other ones coming down the road, and I've got my own thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny because ever since I started the podcast, um, it's kind of the similar thing with your Instagram where it's like people just, they're like coming to me now. You know what I mean? It's, you don't
Yeah.
have to sit. It's a much more healthier approach, I think, especially in this world and the way things are going with Web 2.0 and virtual.
Yeah.
So that, like,
I think
that's, yeah. Your thoughts on that? I don't know. It's just
no,
something I
yeah.
noticed.
I think that's totally, I think that that's very important to dabble in other things besides like, musical theater and, film and everything like that. Just constantly like educate yourself in
Right.
anything. So like fitness, amazing. Like that's a leeway to get yourself out of this world and like give that world a break. Cause I feel like if you just keep on like, I don't know, you keep on putting so much pressure on yourself, like in this one, like you're gonna go insane. Cause
Right.
it's just constant. I mean, you're gonna hear a bunch of no's before you hear that yes, So if you keep on beating yourself up every time you hear a no, like God knows where your happiness is gonna be. But
You know,
so
and
that's why
the real
I've been
bitch,
dabbling like, huh?
the real bitch is when you have the best audition of your life and you don't even get a call back. And
Yeah.
it really has nothing to do with, and you know this as well as anybody else has been on the scene for a long time. It really has nothing to do with you.
It's out of your power.
It's
Yeah.
what's going on, and especially like if you're doing your own shoots, right, with the modeling and whatever. Maybe you're looking for a certain location. Maybe you're looking to do something with a certain photographer that has a certain skill set. Like you have in
Mm-hmm.
your mind, you already have the vision. You, the
Vision.
creator, have the vision, right?
Yeah.
So you can't, like, how it's physically impossible unless there's some psychic thing that I'm unaware of where you can like
Yeah.
manipulate people and change what they want,
Yeah.
which is actually probably possible.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it,
Oh yeah. It's like
they've already made their decision 99% of the time, and they're just
you
waiting.
walk into the room.
Right.
It's just like yes or no. Like almost, I would say like almost like 70% of the time. And I guess, okay, I'm not a casting director. I can't really like say that, but I mean like, it's really out of your control. So there's no use in being like, I'm not good enough. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Like if you feel that way, take a class or go to a workshop
Well,
or
and then
something
you have those
like that.
auditions that you bomb and you get hired,
Oh my God. Yes. I know.
which is
Those are,
just great. I love it when that happens.
yeah, me too. But yeah, so I think it's very like dabble in other things. Like during this whole quarantine thing, I've been doing a lot of like sketches.
A lot
Like
of
I've been
coffee
working on,
drinking. No. A
huh? Oh
lot of
yeah.
espresso drinking.
I have been like drinking much coffee and experimenting with different brands.
A
But
lot of
besides,
pooping.
yeah, why not? Every morning poop. Can you blame her? I mean, if I didn't, I'd be full of shit. So.
Ah,
She's charming. Anyway.
that's good.
But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of like poetry or like songwriting, and getting into sketching with like charcoal and watercolors and like exploring this whole other
Wow.
world.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing with like blues harmonica, piano. You know, just like kind of
Mhm.
rekindling that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird. It's like a renaissance in a way, and I think a lot of people are experiencing that with, especially as creatives, like just finding a different medium, trying something out.
Yeah.
You know, that you haven't tried before. It's a safe
Hmm.
time to do it. We got all this free
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
As far as future plans for you and kind of what's next, which is, I ask everybody this question and nobody knows because of
Yeah.
our
As of right
situations.
now.
But
Yeah.
if you had anything that you wanted to talk about.
As a future plans, I guess in short term, I need to find what I've kind of been struggling with is finding a routine. Like in the morning, obviously I have my coffee, and then I'll do like a deep stretch. I'll do a deep stretch or something like that. Like lately I've been doing Les Mills, like amazing. It's great. But for the rest of the day, I'm just like, what do I do?
Mhm.
And because I've been in New York, I haven't been able to do any crazy cardio. I'm a runner. Like I love doing Barry's boot camp, or I just need my cardio, so I'll do Rumble and I'll box, but I haven't been able to do any of that. So that's kind of part of the reason why I'm going down to North Carolina, because I'll be able to at least go outside, like on a walk, and
Right. Right.
not have to get these people, that are just like skeptical and toxic, and which I get, but um yeah, so I guess like fitness goals, I want to get back into better shape because of that dry cough. Like I couldn't do anything cardio while I felt really weak. So trying to
Mhm.
build that up. Um and I guess work on some self tapes. I kind of do also want to dabble in reading more scripts via film, and maybe creating like a film reel, just because that's so different from the live theater world,
Yep.
So yeah, probably just like dabble in that until things start, opening up and looking up. I've been taking some workshops with uh, casting directors and with agents and all this kind of stuff, and I've been just tuning in on their Zooms and being like, okay, so what do you think is going to happen in the future, after all of this is over? And
Mhm.
they've said some pretty insightful stuff. So
If
yeah.
I were to guess, they would say it's just going to go more self-tape.
Yeah. And like, you also have to think, when all of this is over, people are going to have anxieties when going into those audition rooms and being in close proximity of other
Yep.
people.
Yep.
So we're all going to have to get over that as well. I know that I had 2 gigs lined up like this summer, and they both had to be pushed to the same time, but next year.
Jeez.
So I'm
Wow.
great. I mean, I'm grateful for that. Sucks, but like, I'm grateful that it just wasn't canceled completely.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I at least I get to look forward to that, next year.
I had some really cool opportunities
Mhm.
touring wise with
Oh, amazing.
music. Some of them got rescheduled, some of them just
Uh-huh.
got canceled. But my stuff is scheduled to start up back in September. But who
Okay.
knows?
Yeah, we really don't know where all of this is gonna go, and that's why, um, at least like me and my boyfriend, like we've been talking in terms of like, he was supposed to actually move here, not too long ago, and we can't, you can't think that far ahead. You literally have to take
Yeah.
all of this stuff day to day, because if you keep on trying to plan things ahead, you're just gonna get frustrated with like literally anything that comes up that we are not sure
Is
about.
is
So
he out of state?
sorry.
Is he out of state?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be staying with him in North Carolina,
Oh,
but
okay. Okay.
he drove like cross country from LA, and then he was gonna come here, but when all this stuff started happening, he just drove down to where his mom and his sister are.
Okay.
So he's with family right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a wild time.
I know.
One of my friends, he's going to be on tomorrow. He's down in Louisiana right now because
Uh-huh.
he's up in New York predominantly. He's got his apartment up there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough here. Like, people cannot be taking this as like a joke. And
Right.
like, I feel like when I go down to North Carolina, I'm gonna seem like the crazy one, because there have been so many crazy things happening here, and I feel like some other states are a little more lackadaisical about things.
Oh, there's people walking around not taking it seriously. I mean, I would say 50%, nah, 75% are taking it seriously down here. The other 25 are like they're out. But you know what? A lot of the stores are closing. Like Lowe's Home Improvement
Wow,
closing.
they closed.
Well, I mean,
When did I get
they're just doing
that?
deliveries now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not like out of
Yeah.
business. Um,
Yeah,
But
I have a friend who's like working in the hospital and she's working in the front lines right now. And like those stories are just incredibly sad, and
yeah,
that's why it really breaks my heart whenever like I hear that people aren't taking it seriously, because I'm like, you don't know how lucky you are right now to be breathing
yeah, yeah.
this air. Yeah.
And
So
the crazy thing is that if this was not implemented, this whole social distancing thing, you know, I think it was like 2+ million people when they extrapolated data. That's basically the death toll would have been 2 million.
jeez.
So yeah, yeah, it's a strange time. I mean, I was just on the phone with my grandma. Both my granddads are deceased, but my grandmothers are still alive. Talked with them over the last couple of days, over
Yeah.
Easter, and they said like because they lived through World War II, they were our age
Yeah.
during World War II, and they said that was nothing compared to this in the sense of the scale and just how it's changing culture, how
Yeah.
it's changing.
And it's an invisible enemy,
Right, right.
like I feel with a lot of wars, we point fingers and there's like this person did it, this person did it, but like you can't, you literally can't deal with this one. So, but in a weird
Yeah,
way, I hope like brings us more together in the fact that
I
we
I
all,
hope so. Yeah,
you know,
I hope so as well. It's yeah, it,
yeah, we're all fighting battle. So
yeah, and it does for a while there. If it's strange, we're getting a little acclimated to it, like getting a little
mhm.
used to it. But a few weeks ago, it really did feel kind of like Walking Dead-ish,
Yeah,
you
very
know,
apocalyptic.
very apocalyptic.
Yeah.
So
So I know I was like, oh my gosh, if the apocalypse happens, don't tell an actor. They'll never want you on their team. I feel like I have to have like a special skill set that they're like, we have to keep her alive. You know what I mean? Like, I've thought about these things, Jason. It's scary. I'm like, yeah, I can fight. I'm a boxer. So like, if
there you
anyone tries to
go.
attack the group, you got me.
There you
So.
go. Yeah. So I've got a little thing I like to do at the end. I call it the shootout section, and I just say an industry related phrase or
Uh-huh.
word, and you just say a word that comes back to mind, like right off the top of your head.
Oh, I'm terrible at it. Okay. Okay.
I think you're gonna do okay.
Okay.
All right. Hold on, I'm like writing a couple other ones down.
Look at you
Let's see.
coming up with the whole spot.
All right, all right.
I say the first word. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Camera.
Action.
That's good. See, you're good at this.
Oh, look at me. Put special
Wait,
skill.
I gotta write another one. Hold on, and you'll know why. All right. Lights.
Camera. Action.
Modeling.
Yikes.
Yeah,
I feel like I kind of have to put a little story. I feel like so many people reach out to me on Instagram, like, how did you get started with modeling? How did you do all of this? Like, I'm really looking to get into that. And I feel guilty sometimes when I don't have an answer. Because then, like, I mean, it wasn't my passion, I kind of did it because I liked. So I'm just like, just reach out to other creatives. Like, you're going to be doing some shit for free. Let me tell you. So,
Let
yeah.
me tell you now.
Let me tell you. So, anyway.
Audition.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Voice.
Think of Seussical the music.
Say it. Physical. Jeez. Wow. That was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
You broke some glass down here.
I did. That was my A-bar cut.
600 miles away.
Yeah.
The theater.
Heaven.
Makeup.
Yep. No.
Oh, oh. Coffee.
Poops.
I was literally gonna say it.
Well, you put me in the corner, so.
You put yourself in that corner.
I did. Self
It's
off for
Instagram. Instagram.
Log out.
I'm
I'm actually on a break from Instagram. I don't know. I think I may have told you that right now.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going on it like maybe once a week because with all this quarantine stuff, I feel like it's just taking up so much of my time,
Right.
and to a point I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're not the first person who said that.
Yeah.
I have to stay on it because that's how like a lot of these folks were scheduling with podcast times, and there's a lot of all over the world. We had Benke from Germany and some other folks.
Yeah.
Girls coming out from Australia, Europe, all these places,
Yeah, I think I might. I don't know. I'll get back on it at some point, but
it's calling your name.
Slowly, just there have been so many people like asking me to send videos or like promote or and I'm just kind of done. Like I'm like, this is starting to become a job, and I'm not going to promote unless you're going to pay me now because
right. There you
go. So yeah.
New York.
Frank Sinatra.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh Lord, when am I going to start talking like this when I go down to North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Beards.
Wow.
I don't know why I thought that.
That was wow.
I thought of like lumberjacks, and then I thought it went to beards, and I was like, ooh.
So 2 stories for you very quickly about Northwood. To me, the best. Well, actually, there's more than 2, but there's 2 that come to mind.
Okay.
It was the only day I ever came in late, and I had to go to like the doctors or something. And I come in, it was like because we had 4 periods. Mm-hmm. We had the block schedule, if you remember, and we came in at I think 8 every morning. I came in around 10:30 this morning, and it was by the gym. If you remember where that like new gym was, or where they rebuilt the gym or something.
Yeah.
And I'm walking, and I look to my left, and there's this open pickup truck. The bed of the truck is open, and there's a deer.
The carcass! The deer carcass! I'll never forget
this?
that.
Do you remember this?
I remember that. I was like, ah!
That was a whole other level. That was like, yeah, this is Northwood at its finest, folks.
Oh yeah, I was low key traumatized. I was like, what is happening? Why are we allowed to have a deer body?
That's funny. That's funny that you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought I was the only one that saw it.
No.
It's kind of like on the side. Yeah.
I feel like that says like you just have to tell that story, and then people know what kind of high school we went
Exactly.
to.
Yeah.
So.
The other one, and then the other one is, do you remember Adam McIntosh?
Yes.
I have no idea what he's up to these days. He's kind of like off the grid. But anyway, this was back over where the math trailers were. So it was like you drive up to the school, and it was on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going in between classes, and you heard a couple of girls like shriek. And he sits there. So one of the girls is like, yeah, oh, it's a snake. It's a snake.
Uh-huh.
This dude literally grabs this thing by the tail like it was nothing. Just grabs the thing by the tail. And just literally boomerangs and launches it. And I'm talking like at least 50 yards. Like at least 50 yards.
No way.
This is like a 6-foot black garden snake. I mean, the thing's harmless.
Well, yeah, but still.
Picks it up by the tail. Yeah, picks it up by the tail. So, and Adam and I at the time, like, we didn't really get along. Like, we were acquaintances, if that. Like, we didn't have anything in common.
Yeah.
You know, he made a couple of comments towards me. I made a couple of comments towards, just like stupid kid stuff.
Yeah.
But after that event, I was like, dude, that was the coolest damn thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Thank you. And we just bonded after that. I was like, that was just on a whole other level. It was incredible.
That's so crazy. I can't even. Oh my God. No.
I wish I had it on tape. Like, again, there were so many viral moments at Northwood. If you think about it, like if you actually think, if you go back and you think,
That was a wild. I still remember, like, I don't know. I feel like at Northwood, especially my last year, I didn't have many friends.
I wasn't there the last year.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You were one of my friends, and you left. And like on senior year, I just like, because I always made friends with like upperclassmen, and so like my last year, I still remember I felt like I was like that loner theater kid, but like I wasn't. It was past my emo days, so it was just kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'm just doing theater by myself or singing the national anthem for every football game. But then at the last day of school, I had maybe 7 people come up to me, and they were all like, hey, I just thought that I would come up to you and say that, like, I've always thought that you were one of the coolest people, and I've always wanted to be your friend, but I was too scared or intimidated to make that, like, friendship happen. And I was like,
wow. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'll never forget that day. We were all like, woo, that's high school, yeah.
Crazy times.
Yeah. Those are nutty.
Well, this has been fun. I have one last question for you. I always ask everybody this.
Okay.
If you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, little sophomore Josy, what would you tell her, knowing the things that you know now about life and your experience?
I think the first thing I would tell myself is lighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, lighten up. Like, it's okay. Things are gonna be okay. And like, I feel like if I told myself where I am right now, like, hey, you're gonna be living in New York, you're gonna be doing all of this, I would not have believed it. Like, I wanted to do that, but like, yeah, I feel like if I could tell myself, like, everything that you're dreaming of is gonna come true, I would definitely say that to myself. Yeah.
That's cool.
And I'd be like, what? That's crazy. Living the dream, man. So.
And stay emo.
Yeah, stay punk, man. My Chemical Romance was supposed to go on tour in September. But anyway, sorry.
They still may, we'll see how this pans out.
Yeah. I hope you're staying safe.
Say that again?
I said I hope you're staying safe and everything.
As safe as you can. I mean, live in the middle of nowhere right now.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Joining you.
Where can folks find you, Instagram-wise? And we'll have it in the description box.
Yes. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram. It's Josy_Soriano. So that's JOSY _Soriano. SORIANO. Woo! But yeah.
I do the soprano falsetto.
Oh, you get up there?
No, I would, but I can't.
You can't. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can do it for the both of us. It's fine. Woo! So.
No, what you did earlier with the vibrato. That. You know what you should do? You should make that a ringtone.
Oh, that'd be great. It should be someone's alarm in the morning.
Yeah.
That would definitely wake some people up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not like a crazy alarm person. Like, you know how people have the like, I can't wake up with that. I have the chimes, so it like gently lulls me into reality.
I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I think that does it.
Wraps it all up.
Wraps it all up. All up.
All up.
I feel like we're this was good. This was therapeutic.
This was awesome. It was so good to see you.
Good to see you too. Because when you're down here, I won't see you.
Yeah, I know. Literally be like,
isn't that weird?
Yeah. That's crazy.
We can't get coffee and shit together.
I know. I don't know if I want to shit. I imagine us in separate stalls. Hey man, that cappuccino was dope.
Yeah.
Doing
stay to my system for about 17 minutes. Already coming out.
Ew! You better not make the title of this like Poop Soriano or some shit. I swear to God.
You put yourself in that corner.
No. Oh,
any last words?
No, I don't. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll get out of this together. I promise.
Woo! Woo! Well, you heard it. Thanks for tuning in to the Jason Damico Show. Check the description box for details, and we will see you all on the next episode. Yes!
Bye!